Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is Ming Oblivion Plays, and today we're going to be going over the Pokemon news from or up until about mid-May. So everything that's available to us right now, we'll be going over. So let's get started. First off, some news from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The fourth Grand Challenge event of 2025 was this past weekend, and it was the last time for players to earn championship points from an online competition before this year's World Championships. This tournament was the first to use the Regulation I rule set, which lets you use 2 restricted Pokemon instead of 1, meaning this is a really good testing ground for those who wanted to battle at Worlds. From what I saw in my limited time in the tournament was a lot of Miraidon. Miraidon was paired with a number of different Pokemon, including Kyogre and both of the Calyrexes. But it does seem that Miraidon is going to be taking center stage potentially in this year's World Championships based on its usage in this tournament. We'll see how that goes with more competitions yet to come um, this year before the World Championships take place. The Metagross Mightiest Mark Raid is also available right now, and it is a Steel type. It has the moves Meteor Mash, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, and Thunder Punch, as well as Hone Claws, Iron Defense, and Light Screen as support moves. This one has been pretty difficult. I still haven't defeated it yet, although I think I'm going to get it today. Um, my strategy is a little dependent on me being a little bit better at healing. So we'll see how that goes. Expect a video later this week. The 2 main builds that have been floating around online to defeat Metagross are Skeledirge here, which would hold a Shell Bell. It would have the Unaware ability and be a Fire Terra type. You'd want to load up on hit points and defense, and then you want to have the moves Protect, Torch Song, Curse, and Sunny Day. Some people have just been running Torch Song and Protect, which also could work. But you can do a little bit extra with Curse. That's going to make you a little bit more viable. The other major build I've seen on the internet is a Quagsire build. Quagsire has the Covert Cloak item and has the Unaware ability and has a Ground Terra type. You want to load up on its attack and defense in the EV arena, and then you also want to have Protect, Recover, Curse, and Earthquake. This is the build I've been using. It is very healing dependent on this Recover move, and I'm just not using it right yet. So hopefully I can get this one to get us the win here. Either of them seem to be viable though. So you can try out either one of those. The upcoming Mightiest Mark raid after Metagross should be Garchomp. Garchomp is the Generation 4 pseudo-legendary Pokemon, and it's going to either have Sand Veil or Rough Skin. These pseudo-legendary raids have not always had their hidden ability as the ability, and both of these are very good. So Sand Veil is going to make it harder to hit Garchomp in sand. Rough Skin is going to do damage to us when we attack, which is going to be really annoying. Lots of possibilities there. It's definitely going to have a very strong dragon move, Dragon Claw most likely, and Earthquake as its ground type stab move. And then it has a lot of different coverage moves, including Crunch, Thunder and Fire Fang, Poison Jab, Iron Head, Brick Break, Rock Slide, and Shadow Claw. So lots of different coverage moves that are going to make it very difficult to attack this Garchomp. It also has Sandstorm and Swords Dance as potential boosting moves. Here are a couple of builds. Very preliminarily, we don't even know what the Terra type is yet. But we could use a Cloyster, which has very high defense, which will be very good for its high attack strength. And in this case, we'd be using a Skilling Cloyster, and we want to Shell Smash and then Icicle Spear to defeat Garchomp. Aqua Ring would be for recovery, and Snow Escape would be to boost Icicle Spear's damage output. Another possible build could be Glalie. With an Icy Rock and the Ice Body ability, we could heal using that. And we would use Frost Breath, which always crits, Ice Beam, and Fake Tears to lower Garchomp's special defense. So we could hit him hard where it hurts. Like I said, We don't know what Terra type Garchomp's going to be yet. This is just kind of some early thoughts I had looking at Garchomp, but it seems like if it is, depending on what Terra type it is, these guys might be ideal. If it has another Terra type, we might just switch it up. Let's move over to Pokemon Go. First of all, the Crown Clash event has begun, and it's running through the 18th of May. This is going to allow the debut of Kingambit, which you can evolve from Bisharp. And you have to defeat 15 Dark or Steel type Pokemon in raids to evolve it as your buddy. So if you do want to get a Kingambit right away, you should be setting Bisharp as your buddy ASAP. Nidoqueen and Nidoking will also be appearing in raids with crowns on their heads, which I'm very excited about. I love the Nidos, so that's very exciting. And there's also a collection challenge featuring various Pokemon that have ties to royalty. The second half of this event will have a Team Rocket takeover, and there will be some new Shadow Pokemon available in this event. The first and most main one will be Dialga, which will be with Giovanni. But the Slakoth line, Inkay line, Tyrunt line, and Amora line will also be brand new Shadow Pokemon. It'll be very easy to find rocket balloons during this event, as they'll be appearing every 3 hours during those 5 days. The Final Strike event will be the final event in Might and Mastery, and it'll feature the premiere of Urshifu. Remember, Urshifu has 2 different forms, so if you only have one Kubfu, you won't be able to get both of them. Kubfu will require 200 candy and a buddy task to evolve. Metatite, Stunky, and Marini are going to have Shiny Boost in the wild, so if you find those Pokemon, you can search for them to have shiny versions. And then Primeape, Dugong, Lapras, Hydreigon, and Greninja will have access to special moves if you evolve or catch them during this event. So that's something to look out for as well. The next GoMax Battle Day will feature Gigantamax Machamp, and it'll take place on May 25th. The particle limit you can hold is going to be increased to 1,600 or 5,600 if you have purchased a ticket. Some popular counters for Gigantamax Gengar are going to be Gigantamax Machamp are going to be Gengar, Charizard, and the legendary birds that are all flying types. The next Community Day will be May 11th. May 18th. It'll be May 18th. And feature Pawmi. And the next Community Day Classic will be May 24th. And we'll bring Machop back to the Community Day. Machamp will be able to learn Payback during this event. There are also going to be some Max Battle and Shadow Raid changes coming to Pokemon Go, and these changes will be permanent. Distance raid passes are going to be allowed for Shadow Raids and Max Battles, starting on the 13th for Shadow Raids and the 19th for Max Battles. The daily remote pass limit will be set to 10 for the future of the game until it is changed, so it'll be sitting at 10 for a while. Max Battles will require the particles to participate, so you can't just join in without the particles you need. Remote trainers will receive fewer balls and experience in max battles. So if you're looking to join a max battle remotely, you will be giving less balls and less experience from that raid. Let's move on to Pokemon Sleep. The next event coming up is Growth Week number 5, and it's going to take place from the 19th to the 26th. Pokemon will be receiving 1.5 experience and 1.5 candy for their first sleep research of the day. There will be no special Pokemon available during Growth Week number 5. Also coming up at the end of May will be New Moon Day. This New Moon Day will feature Darkrai once again, so if you didn't get him during the Cresselia event, Darkrai will be available for you to add to your party. Snacks will also be less effective during this event. That's apparently something that they haven't explained yet, but that is something that will be happening. Murkrow and Honchkrow will also be debuting during the New Moon Day event. When that day comes out, I'll update you. Moving on to the Pokemon trading card game. Destined Rivals will be releasing May 30th, and that means pre-release events will be taking place from May 17th through May 25th. This set, of course, features Arven, Misty, Ethan, Cynthia, and Team Rocket. The next English set has also been revealed, and that set will be Black Bolt and White Flare. This is one of those special sets where Black Bolt and White Flare will be two separate different things, but they will together combine to be one full set. It will release July 18th, and each Unova Pokemon will have an Illustrator Rare card in this set, which is pretty exciting, as this set will be solely based around Unova. So it's going to be kind of like the Kanto set, 151, that was released earlier. There'll also be a new type of rarity in this set, and that rarity will be called monochromatic. The cards will be released in one color, and they look really cool. You can see three of them here: Zekrom EX, Reshiram EX, and Victini. Moving on to Pokemon Pocket. Currently, a Wonder Pick event is happening in Pokemon TCG Pocket, and it's running through May 19th. The two cards that are featured in this event are Cosmog and Lycanroc. Solgaleo items are available in the shop tied to this event. Coming up in Pokemon TCG Pocket, there will be the Alolan Ninetales drop event, which will go for the 16th to the 26th. The promos in that drop event are going to be Alolan Ninetales, Alolan Exeggutor, Crabrawler, Alolan Grimer, and Toucannon. And then a metal type mass outbreak will follow on the 27th through the 2nd of June, which will feature Solgaleo EX. Let's go over some of the new Celestial Guardians cards and the ones that have been seeing a lot of play in ranked and in various battles in TCG Pocket. Decidueye EX is a new card that can be paired very easily with the Spiritomb from Triumphant Light, which puts 10 damage on every Pokemon in play, as Decidueye EX can do 100 to any Pokemon that has damage on it. So you can use the Decidueye EX to snipe cards after Spiritomb sets them all up. You could also, I guess, play it with Darkrai EX as well. Alolan Marowak can be played along with Marowak EX or on its own, featuring a similar attack to Bonemerang. Incineroar EX could be a very powerful alternative to Charizard EX, as it can do 140 damage as long as there are some damage counters on it, and it does have a powerful 180 hit points. Alolan Raichu EX is going to be a very useful card, as it can be slotted into any deck type thanks to its colorless attack cost. Lunala EX pairs perfectly with the Giratina EX and Darkrai EX deck archetype, as it is able to transfer energy from the bench to the active spot with its ability. Solgaleo EX, on the other hand, could really pair well with Dialga. Dialga uses its first attack one time, and then Solgaleo can move itself to the bench. Rare Candy is a new great card that makes it so that Stage 2 Pokemon can be played even quicker, making some of them extremely dangerous, as they can be played on turn 2 now. Oricorio, the electric type, is the first Pokemon to be completely resistant to Pokemon EX, meaning that it can be a very useful card in a lot of different decks. And the new supporter card Guzma discards opponent's tool cards, meaning you can get rid of those pesky Rocky Helmets and those capes to make it a little easier to knock out your opponent's Pokemon. Moving on to just some miscellaneous news in the Pokemon world. First of all, the Pokemon Horizons anime is continuing after the second season finale in Laqua. The explorers seem to be back and using the mysterious Laquium to power up their Pokemon and hurt others. And so the team will be doing something to defeat them, I assume. On the Nintendo Switch 2, all of the various starter Pokemon will be available as a profile icon at launch, which is pretty neat. There were no really Pokemon icons for a long time on the Switch, so it's nice that they're giving Pokemon some support right away with our profiles icons. More Pokemon home medals are being added, and there are now physical locations that are giving medals out to people who have their smartphone with them. So those physical locations for now are in Japan, but I'm sure there will be more locations soon. And finally, the World Championships are coming up in August in Anaheim, California. Prior to that, we still have the North American and Japanese Championships, which will be occurring in June. And of course, we're very excited to see what sort of news we are going to be getting once the Worlds come around. They always seem to give out some information at the very end of the World Championships. And there's lots of different things they could tell us. So I'm very excited to see what they show off at the end of the World Championships this year. Thanks so much for watching Pokemon News. We're glad to keep you up to date on what's happening in the Pokemon world, and we'll be back pretty soon with more news and details as they become available to us. Until then, best of luck out there, trainers. This has been Mangoblivion Play, signing off.